I think the most difficult thing for most financial modelers to know is which formula or function they should use when. It's a very difficult thing to teach because often it's based on years and years of experience. But this is just the way we try and go through it. So for example, what we've got here, we've got our little header, and you'll see there's operational yes and no. And we now we've got a once-off operational fee of, in this case, 100 Rand. So the question is, what formula do I use to somehow, out of this, get where the once-off operational fee is? So I know logically that if I come here, it looks like it should be there. Okay. The question now is, how did I know that? And you need to think through how you figured that out so that you can tell Excel what it must be looking for. So take a second now and decide why I stopped there. And I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay, if you said it's because of the 1 here, you're partially right. Because then my answer to you would be, well, I'm going to put 100 Rand there, but over here there's a 1 as well, and over here there's a 1 as well. So that's not actually what your brain did. What your brain did was see that something changed here. Now, a human brain is much better than Excel, and as a result it spotted that. But how do you tell Excel that this is the pattern it's looking for? So you can see that we know that this is the first time we are operational only because the previous month is a 0 and the current month is a 1. So we now know that we need to find a formula or come up with a way where we can tell Excel, look for that pattern. Previous month 0, current month 1. This works because if I'm over here, it'll be a 1 and a 1, or here 0, 0. So it's only at this point where it'll be, this is the first month, but it's because we noticed that, then this. We can, now that we know what we are looking for, the type of things we need to enter, we can go look for a function. Now we know that one of the functions you could use here is the AND function. So let's just go find it here. And you'll see it says, what's the first logical test? I'm going to say, look at the previous cell. Is it equal to a 0? Look at the current period cell. Is it equal to a 1? When I say OK, you'll see we get trues and falses. And you'll see we've now got false, true, false. A couple of things to notice. Notice again, I didn't start my formula here. I actually started it here because this is the crossover point. Now that we've got a true and false, we can then build in a formula. So we can either use an if function, or another useful thing to know, true and false in Excel are actually 1s and 0s. So I can just go equals that cell multiplied by the number with dollar signs, and you'll see we have now built a little formula that if operations change, the cash flows move around. The key thing here is to understand how did you know where to put it, and then to find a formula in Excel that will help with that particular function. Let's look at another one. So yeah, what I've got is we've got a factory, we produce lots of widgets, and we know that at different levels of production we've got different levels of fixed costs. So what we want to do is, how do we get this correct? How do we get Excel to look at the widget we've produced and then figure out which one to use? So again, we say step back and think, how would you get the answer? So if I look at this 1949, I'd look at this list, I'd come down here and I'd say, oh, it fits somewhere in there, so it looks like that's the number. So we need to find a formula in Excel that will get a number, compare it to a list, run down that list, and when it's found something similar, it'll go to the right. Now as it turns out, we know that the function there is VLOOKUP, and you'll see we've then built a VLOOKUP that does exactly that. Looks at the number, runs down the list, finds the closest match, goes to the right and brings it through. You'll learn more about VLOOKUP later, but the more important thing is to realize that first see what you did. How would you get the answer? And then find the Excel formula that mimics that action.